What's up everyone? Today I want to discuss low light capabilities between the A7IV and the A7S III. And this is not one of those in-depth tests where I'm going to go through every single setting, this, that, and the other. It is more of an opinionated video after I did some testing based on what I feel like I would use it for. And I just want to share this information with all you tube douchers out there. And my YouTube douchebag ass is here just to get, again, A7IV algorithm clout for my YouTube channel. With that said, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in useless content about cameras. So I hear a lot of people saying that the A7IV in terms of usable low light performance is better than the A7S III in terms of like the practical low light performance, as in like, you know, general ISOs at like between 3,000 and 10,000, whatever usually you do on running gun shoots. You know, you need a bump ISO and you want the best clean image. A lot of people say the A7IV is better, and that is incorrect in my opinion. The A7S III is still the better practical low light camera, especially if you shoot an S-Log3. Now, if you're shooting s-cinetone, HLG3, Cine 2, whatever, in general, as long as you're staying within both of these cameras native ISOs and like, I don't know, the dual native ISOs that they both have on the, you know, standard picture profile settings, Cine 1, Cine 2, non-log profiles, they're gonna perform equally well across the board until obviously you get into super high ISO when the A7S III starts pulling away because of 12 megapixels, etc., etc. S-Log3, which is what I use, and this is why this test is important to me, is more of a critical look at real use ISO. First of all, the ISO performance in crop mode is going to suffer compared to full frame. So in my opinion, when I'm in low light situations, I'm shooting 4K 60p, maybe in 4K 120. Usually it is at uncontrollable low light situation at like wedding receptions. Because, you know, in most studio environments, you can control your light, so ISO performance doesn't matter. That low light performance is really more important for running gun shooters, wedding filmmakers, things of that nature. And when we're shooting B-roll, when we're doing like cool shots and stuff, generally speaking, we're gonna be shooting 4K 60, right? Dancing, bouquet toss, things of that nature. So what I did was I tested both these cameras in 4K 60. And obviously in 4K 60, the A7IV does not do as well. Matter of fact, in S-Log3 at 3200 ISO, which is when the next dual native ISO, whatever you want to call it, kicks in for the A7IV, it is not even close to what the 12,800 ISO is on the Sony A7S III. But you also have to consider in S-Log3, you have to overexpose 1.7 to possibly 2 stops on your camera. So with that, and most of the time, probably 95% of the time, when I'm in a wedding reception, I'm trying to overexpose by 1.72 stops. Even with my light setup, to get to that 2 stops of overexposure with S-Log3, I need to get to 12,800. And so 3200 ISO is not enough to get to that, you know, 2 stops of overexposure. So matter of fact, A7S III is perfect for that, because once you get to 12,800, everything just cleans up and you're still overexposed at +2. This is perfect for S-Log3 low light shooters because you need to overexpose by 2 stops. And in that low light condition that most wedding receptions and event receptions are looking like, 12,800 is a ticket. And, you know, and that's at like with a prime lens, f1.4, what have you. And of course, once you get to 25,600, which is just something I said, hey, you know what? Usually, even with A7S III, I try not to go over 25,600 ISO. So that's what I set it up at. And the A7S III is cleaner at 25,600 in S-Log3 4K 60, which means the A7IV is cropped. I'm not going to do, the reason why I'm not going to do like a test, you know, in 24p is because the reality is, again, if I'm shooting 24p in a low light situation, I'm messing up, because the only reason why I use 24p is for shots like this. Studio controlled talking head videos. And even if, let's say I'm outside in the dark, no lights, and I want to do an interview and, you know, I don't have a light to use or something, the A7S III is still going to be better overall performer than the A7 IV when you're talking about like extreme ISO usage. So my opinion is that low light capability of the A7 IV in practical real world situations is still not as good as A7S III is still the best performer, whether it be just standard low light, you know, between like 2500 and 12,800 plus ISO, or, you know, any other situation. It's just better at ISO performance, low light overall. So if you're looking for that low light king, the best low light possible, regardless if it is within that practical range of, you know, 100 ISO to like, you know, I don't know, 16,000 ISO, is still A7S III. Because the only reason why you're using lower ISO of that is if you're not using S-Log3. Once you hit S-Log3, you're going to have to get to 12,800 to get that +2 overexposure in low light situations. So yeah. And you know, this is not me being biased. I'm a Sony fanboy douchebag. I have both cameras. I bought both cameras. I intend to use both of them. The A7S III is obviously my main driver. This is also an A7S III filmed on right here. And this is my C cam. Knowingly that this is a great video camera, it's just not the best one I have. I have two better ones. And this is just like that third angle camera that does photo really well. So if I ever do photo projects that require high megapixels, such as corporate shoots, you know, restaurant food shoots, this will be the ticket, the A7 IV. This is why I got it. But I just wanted to clear something up. This is just my opinion on the matter. You can disagree if you want, but this is my workflow. This is how I do things in my video production. So I hope it was helpful. Till next time, light.